Welcome to the All Things Wildfire podcast, where we delve into the latest trends and hot topics in protecting properties against wildfire. So sit back, relax, and join us as we arm you against disaster.
Hey everyone, welcome to another All Things Wildfire podcast. Another special day because I'm bringing in some of our employees that have worked during these tragic wildfires. I have Erica to my right, who's assisted. I have Allie to my left. And look, I got to tell you guys, the event took place on Tuesday. We had a little bit of chaos on Tuesday. Wednesday was ridiculous. Thursday was nuts. And then you guys were working Saturday and Sunday around the clock here downstairs, answering phone calls from homeowners that were just saying, can you please schedule me to spray fire retardant on my property? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to bring you guys in because I want people to hear from, others other than me who's just saying, we need to do these things and this is why. Can you guys share like some of the stories that you guys have heard from homeowners and kind of what was their feeling? What did you hear the anxiety in their voice? What was going on when they called you guys?
I mean, the first calls, I think, from Wednesday when everything kind of like went a little, crazy. We had one client that was, very distraught and was like, I will do anything for you guys to come out and take care of my house. But I don't think they were realizing that we're not firefighters.
Right.
So we're not there to monitor their homes and to do all that. We're just there to try to figure out what we need to do to attempt to save the home. Not attempt, but to do our part, basically to
apply retardant on the vegetation, get in, get out.
And then, get our crews out there safely. Safely. Too. It's like they don't understand that. I mean, we had clients asking, are they going to sit there throughout the whole process after spraying? And I was like, absolutely not.
Oh, man.
I'm like, but they were like, what do you mean you won't do that? And it's just like, we can't.
Yeah, we're not built for that. Yeah. And what's interesting is this proactive approach that we've been preaching for years. Is you do it when there's no threat right now, right? Yeah. You do it to be ready for when the time shows up. Yeah. And in this case, they were looking at us as a response team to protect their property as these firefighters that some of these firefighters do. They'll just sit at the property. So it was totally different than what they expected in some cases. Any experiences?
I think it was a lot of providing knowledge because a lot of people called in and weren't sure what we were doing, but said, I have neighbors that know or have told me you're coming. So whatever you're doing for them, I want for me. Wow. And then they're like, what are you doing? What is it? What do we like? Are you going to cover the house? Are you going to sit and watch the house? Like what's going on? So it was a lot of frantic response, which, is understandable with the situation, but I feel like it was a lot of educating people and giving them that knowledge that this is something we do year round. You can have this done whenever. Before is obviously better kind of a thing, but it was a lot of that, trying to get them to understand that it's also a preventative thing that we do all the time, to try to avoid these situations where you're calling and trying to get a company out there at the last minute when everything's up in flames. And so I hope that message came across, that was my goal is I want you to understand that this is something that can be done so that you don't have to have these phone calls where you don't have to be frantically trying to get a company there as soon as possible. But I also feel like even with the situation, a lot of people were just grateful. Everybody was nice. Nobody was, mean or demanding or any of that. It was just how can you help me? I just need help. And so it made it so you wanted to take the call. Our phones were off the hook. Me and Erica's phones were off the hook 24/7 for a good 4 days. We were slammed. But because everybody was just so nice and grateful and wanting help, it made you want to take the calls. It made you want to rush through and get to the next person so you could help as many as possible. So I think for me, overall, it was a positive experience. I feel like we made a difference.
Yeah, it was a positive and learning experience. I think that I mean, to be honest, it seemed chaotic and it seemed crazy, but I loved every minute of it. Mm-hmm. It was great. It was a learning experience for us as well, going through this whole process. Yeah. So it helped us understand more, of what this wildfire prevention.
Yeah. Yeah, really. And I think when I remember some of these homeowners would actually say, they make the payment. Here's my credit card. Put me on your schedule. Like that's what was going on. Like they're just throwing money.
Yeah.
And I remember sometimes where it's like, we got a full plate. We got a limited amount of crews out there. We're going to go from this house to that house and then back over there and this over here. And then one of you guys would be like, oh my God, I just talked to this lady. Can we please squeeze her in? I remember you guys were like, please, can you do what you can do for this lady? And operationally, we're like, we can't get to her, right? And that was heartbreaking. Man.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there was clients that were, crying on the phone and begging, like, please get out to my house. And we tried as much as we can to get them in there. But, I mean, we were able to get some and we weren't able to get to the others. But, we tried our best. It was hard trying to get the emotion out of the picture. But still have it in a sense.
Yes.
It's weird.
Yes. And honestly, I think you guys did such a fantastic job being able to connect with people from the standpoint of the human spirit of it, just really talking through with them. And I'm sure you heard about the dogs and sometimes the horses and the children and the family and where they're going, and you hear the entire story. But I think that's important for homeowners and people to just feel like they're being heard by humans.
Yeah.
And I think back, and I say this, I make this statement often. I love having the women on my team who execute and kick ass. And I would trade women for a guy. I'm serious. Like the guys, they can pick up a hammer and all that stuff. But you know what? Give me some empathy, dude. Right? And so that's what people need. And so, we threw you guys in because we needed people, right? So we didn't, Allie's in accounting, by the way, right? that's what you got to realize. Like this girl, all she's doing is like, collecting money and doing this and that. And then, you got Erica who's managing the office, which is what they did. It's completely outside of what they're accustomed to. And look, guys, in my business, I preach all the time that, if you're not stretched, you're not going to grow. And I know that it was uncomfortable, right? Stretching, growing, uncomfortable, especially in the beginning. You're like, what am I doing here?
Like, I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't know the product that well.
What is happening, right?
So
and you guys learn
on the go. Like, we were
figure
it out.
Spitting it all out, and it was just like, whoa, I said all that.
Where did that come from? Like, where did that knowledge come from?
But it's just hearing you talk, hearing Stuart talk. It was just like, we were like all getting all this information, and then we were just kind of like relaying it.
And everyone was like in a war room, right? And that's what it looked like. Like you got and then Jay's not here, man. I wish she was here because she would have been included in here. But you're in a war room and phones, like everyone's on the phone. You've got your earbuds on. I think you got your earbuds on too, right? And these homeowners, I don't know how they got your cell numbers, but they
got passed around like candy. They hit one neighbor, and then we hit like message boards and group chats, and I had like 10 different people from all different neighborhoods. Like we just got passed.
Yes.
Which was kind of cool because it shows you like how close those communities are.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a client actually yesterday on the phone. She basically said that she now realized how close they are now. They realize, they all came together and they were able to help each other and they created this group. And so that's how they got our numbers, because they did it through like the community, like the Ring communication.
Oh, that's
like
right. There's Ring. There's the neighborhood
apps.
There's Facebook.
Like
there's all. Yeah.
So that's how our information was being shared, and that's how they were like, oh, okay, call this person. Like, so it just was thrown out there, and
wow, that's crazy. So before we switch over to what you guys are doing now with smoke and all that stuff and deodorization, any other stories you guys want to share about the retardant and anything significant that pops into your mind about maybe some homeowners? Or
I think now the people calling about wanting those services, like to prevent
Prevention.
Yeah, it's like I've gotten at least a handful of them asking, you know, when can you guys come out and take a look? And right now, I guess our priority right now is to handle the ones that, you know, are going through this process right now. Obviously, we want to handle them as well, but, you know, I'm letting them know, like, we'll be out there, you know, we're here to help you, you know, but they're like, when, you know, as soon, can you come next week? And I'm like, unfortunately, like, we can't do that, but we will try our best. That's been our, like, we will try our best.
Oh, man.
That's been our go-to, like,
tagline.
Yeah.
You know what I'm proud of, though? I'm proud of that, the comment of we try our best is really that, right? Because there are other companies in this space that they may say they try their best, but they're not adding resources. They're not recruiting more people.
Yeah.
They're not training people. They're not doing these things to serve the greater community. I think we literally tried our best.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I was out there slinging, like, I was spraying myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was, I came back and I was a mess. But we all do our part. And I think that's the beauty of having a tribe like this. It's like, you know, when a time like this happens, we're able to, because we're part of this community that was on fire. And so being able to help people and do what we can is powerful. And then the guys that were spraying.
Yes.
Those guys.
I don't know how
around the clock.
Crazy.
Yeah. And you guys were like, hey, man, where are you at?
Yeah. Can you do one more? Can you just do one more? Just one more.
That's crazy.
I mean, what was it, Monday that we saw Edwin's shoes, his boots?
Oh, I know.
His boots were like
covered.
They're covered in. He's like, I just wore them because I thought I was going to be out there again.
Yeah.
But they were covered in the fire retardant.
Yeah. And we're ordering boots now because it's like everyone's uniform is a mess. So.
Yeah.
Did you have something, Ellie, that you wanted to share on experience?
I think the only two, I only got two clients, I won't drop names, but I've got two clients that both appreciated, even me and Erica, like I had talked to the guy first, she then talked to him, and then he came back to me, and the first thing out of his mouth was, Erica's just like you. I love talking to you guys. You guys are so nice and so helpful, and your tone of voice, all this stuff, like they're like, people are so nice, and I almost feel like, even though it's an awful thing to go through, like it's such a tragedy, but I feel like it makes people appreciate the little things more. So it really points out to me, like, we sit and you answer phones, and Erica and I are tired. Like, we tell each other all the, we just look at each other like, oh, like, we're so tired. But putting that extra effort to make sure that you're still on those phone calls and providing that calm, settled voice when people call in really makes a difference.
And I think during that time where it was so chaotic and we were getting all these calls, we did get some, you know, clients were saying, like, you know, thank you so much. You were, you know, so informative and so, like, you know, your voice, like the way that you explained everything, it made me understand, and I feel more calm. I feel more like, you know, secure, more like, you know, okay, this is gonna be okay.
Yeah. Man, I love that. I'm so proud of you guys.
Thanks.
That's so good. I love it. And so now we're dealing with smoke deodorization, right? So we have clients that are calling, but we were expecting that the evacuations are going to be lifted. So we're expecting even more of a rush. But right now, what are the homeowners asking about? What are they concerned about when it comes to deodorization? Have you guys run too many of those, or a few of those?
Well, like the one that she was just talking about, you know, one of our clients that Ali's been dealing with, like, his concern is, like, you know, he has asthma, and you know, he wants to make sure that his house is clean and so forth. So those are like the concerns. But we do have clients that are like, I'm concerned about the toxics and like all that stuff. So there's a different variables in all that. And it's
and a lot of them too can't even get in. A lot of them are expecting us to get there and prep the house for them to just be able to walk in, like it's all ready.
I got it. So it's
like there's a lot of that, or some of that going on, and it's like, well, there was a client that she can't even get access. First of all, she can't get access as even as the homeowner. Her contractor that she has, they can't get in. We're allowed because we have those permits that we were able to secure. And so we got in and nobody was there and there was no power. And so I had to call her and be like, hey, so sorry, we're there, but we'll
not much we
back.
can do.
Like, we'll be back. Don't worry. Like, you know, but So a little bit of those kind of conversations too. Thankfully, she's very understanding, so that makes it nice. But it's a lot of that. Like, I want the home to just be ready, so when we can go back, it's ready to just walk in.
I have a customer who gave me that same scenario. He goes, "Hey, we're going to be gone for a few days. Can I just give you the keys and you just handle it?" I'm like, "You have no power right now." Yeah. But can't you guys just handle it? Yeah. I'm like, "Okay." and you've got a bunch of things that don't work at your house, and you've got fire damage. It's not that simple, but
But I see their thought in it. It's just that they've been gone for so long, and they've been through this whole stressful situation where, like, is my home okay? Is my home okay? And, like, constant, like, they probably haven't had any sleep. Everyone's home is their, like, safe space. That's your where you basically lay your hat every night. And it's just like. I understand that they just want to go home and they just want to be in their house. Like, that's your comfort. That's your happy place.
Yeah, we just got word some people have been out of their homes since the day of the fire. They haven't been back at all. And there's little pockets of people that they lift evacuation so that block can get in. But there's so many streets where you absolutely have not been there. They know that their home either burned to the ground or they know that their home survived because other people are giving them information, but they've not been there. Yeah. And they don't know what to expect. And I get it.
It's gotta be rough.
Yeah, man.
It's gotta be rough. Just the not knowing.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
So.
It's sad. So listen, I just wanted to bring you guys in because I think our listeners would just love to hear from your perspective as to how things were unfolding on a day-by-day basis. Is there anything that you guys would like to leave a message to homeowners or to the listeners that you think would be impactful?
Do it now.
Yeah.
Take care of it now.
Say, like, start the wildfire prevention.
Prepare. It'll relieve your stress. I mean, it's not a fail-safe. It's not a guarantee.
It's not a silver bullet. Yeah.
But it'll give you that extra layer of protection, that extra,
It's a seatbelt.
Yeah, it's a seatbelt. There we go.
It's a seatbelt.
It's a seatbelt.
Yeah,
if anything, that's what I would say. Like, just don't put it off. Don't procrastinate. Don't think, oh, I have time, because I'm sure nobody was expecting for this fire to break out the way it did. Like, this fire has been crazy insane. So
I mean, for it to, like, do, like, grocery stores and
the amount of damage,
gas stations,
that's usually it's up in the hill, like where mostly all the houses are at.
It's in the woods.
It doesn't. It's just
like,
devastating.
Cities are gone. Like
and it came down to the ocean, man.
Yes.
Like Malibu. Oh my gosh, some of these homes,
There's
man.
this video I saw on Instagram, and it's a reel, obviously, but it's from Fox 11 News, and it's basically a fire tornado. Like they were
fire tornado.
I've never seen anything like that. I was just like in awe. I was like, if it had that much power, I mean, it had power to go over everything.
Yeah, crazy.
And I think we all need to realize that we're gonna have to learn how to live with wildfire. It's just gonna be part of what we have to understand is going to potentially come our way, and instead of thinking that it's not going to hit my city, it's best to let me just prepare next year. Let me put it in my budget to get it done, right? Because now I can, after talking to my neighbors or other people that have people that have suffered through this loss, they're going to realize it's not. I bet you most people wish they would have made an investment. Most people didn't know that they can do this, right?
Yeah.
And the scariest thing is when you have one house burning down, that amount of heat that is being produced out of that home is going to impact the other homes. And so I love the fact that you have communities coming together saying, hey, and they're sharing information like, hey, we want to do this together, because one home is good, but 3 homes is better, and the whole block is even the best to protect everyone's home on that street, And so doing your part and then connecting with your community is going to be the best thing you can do to protect your neighborhood and all the families and people that you love. Because guys, think about it. Like, it's going to be 5 years before people start to finally move back in. And then the neighbor across the street is not the same neighbor. It's a whole nother, like, you're moving into a whole nother neighborhood, and the people that you knew before and you liked before, like, they're gone, right? Or they can be gone. They might be buying somewhere else or doing something different. So it's a life changing when you go back, even because things have changed dramatically.
Things have shifted.
Yeah. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining me. I really do appreciate you guys. So, and all you listeners there, I hope you got some good takeaways and some feedback on what's happened and what we can all do to avoid having this type of anxiety when we can do some proactive things to really set ourselves up to win and be more safe when we do have a wildfire that comes up. Thank you, guys. Peace out.
That's all for this episode of All Things Wildfire. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe to our show and follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things wildfire. And as always, thanks for listening.